Okay, well, Mike, election time. Very short, not very far from now.
Well, who knows?
Sunak versus Starmer. What's going to happen? What do you think?
It has to be this year, doesn't it? He's been running, ducking, diving, changing the dates, leaked briefings, all these different things. I mean, if we're making predictions, I don't like making predictions. I like explaining what's going on. But if we're to make a prediction, I think it's pretty hard.
Yeah.
It will be pretty hard for Keir Starmer to mess this up. It is the Labour's elections to lose. It's I can't remember the day. I was looking beforehand where we've had a challenger party be this far ahead of an incumbent. We're talking double digits, 20-something points ahead. He really should win. Now, the difficulty is with all the polling here. So, my master's was in elections, right? I used to love and geek out over elections. And I'll never forget Trump versus Hillary Clinton. That still scars me. In fact, after the day of the election, my supervisor emailed me and said, take the day off, because he knew I would be broken by it. Because I spent so much time looking at all the stats, all the numbers, and there was some marginal polls and some metadata studies that had Trump being close, but pretty much any reputable polling company I looked at had a clear Hillary Clinton win. So all the data pointed one way. But what people need to realize is, irrespective of the data, at the end of the day, it's a two-horse race. Which means when people get to the election polls, they're either going to vote for this one or for that one. Yeah. And so whatever the polls say, it's much closer than we think it actually is. Now, of course, voting systems are important. In America, you had, basically a vote for either Hillary or for Trump. Whereas in the UK, people think you're voting for Keir Starmer or for
Sunak,
but it's not. It's actually 650 small campaigns, because it's all these local MPs fighting each other. So it's even more complicated. Hence why I never get too carried away by those. Oh my God, they're 20 points ahead. It's like, but how does that translate to local MPs? How does my local MP in Croydon, the Croydon Council, all of that plays into who people vote for. So I think it's going to be closer than all the polls are saying. And I don't want Labour to get complacent into thinking we're going to win. So I think Labour will win. I'm not sure if it's going to be a majority government. I think it might be it might be close, but I think it might be close. I think it will be close, and I think it very likely could be a minority Labour government and not a majority.
Oh, really?
Correct.
A minority Labour jump.
And if we're honest, I think you could have some power brokers in the Lib Dems. I think the Lib Dems are going to do very well, way better than we think. I think Reform UK will get some MPs. Change UK doesn't exist anymore. I think SNP are going to be dealt a deep blow. In fact, the sooner the election's called, the worse it's going to go for the SNP, because people are forgetting what happened with both their party chairman and the leader of the party being arrested and questioned and party finances. So I want them to call the election before people forget. But those are some of my thoughts. But what about you? What do you think is going to happen with Keir Starmer and Sunak?
I do think Labour will win. And that's not because I necessarily believe that Labour are a significantly more innovative political party than the Conservatives right now. I just think the Conservative parties seem to be out of ideas. Empty words, broken promises. Nothing they say seems to be actually manifesting itself in real life. That's a really good
campaign line. Empty words, broken promises.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm good with those kind of things.
I hope you're listening, because this is the kind of stuff you need.
Honestly, empty words, broken promises from the Tories. Personally, I've never voted Tory myself, but no, I haven't.
Shocker.
I haven't.
You're a Labour voter.
No. I mean, honestly, historically,
you spoil your ballot or something? Or?
I'm not going to spoil my ballot. I'm not going to say it on camera, but I'm not going to say it on camera. But I've never voted Tory in my life. But
I love how you're keeping us guessing. Lib Dems.
There was one,
Change UK.
There was a point in the last 3 or 4 years where I was considering voting Tory. I didn't, but I was considering it.
I mean, it's not a crime.
I know.
And in fact, a lot of people voted Tory in the last election. Like Boris Johnson thwarted who was the leader at the time, Jeremy Corbyn. We had pretty much the worst result we've had since 1973.
Yeah, that was an annihilation.
Oh my
This is
gosh.
2019 one.
I was covering that.
That
I
was
was in BBC Radio Leeds or something covering that, and as the results came in, we were just dumbfounded.
I was
Everyone in the
disgusted.
studio looked around like, bruh, this is bad.
I remember seeing it on Channel 5 while I was watching it. You can see the red line of the Conservatives just go like 200, 300 and something.
Yeah.
And I did the maths. They got more votes than every other party combined.
Yeah.
It was a total
it was
shambles. But no, I don't think I could vote Tory now. Because not only because of what I said before about being empty and stuff, but honestly, they're not actually conservative in nature at all. They don't act like conservatives at all in terms of high spending, high tax rates. They don't actually act like conservatives at all, not only in terms of economic policy, but in terms of things like more social issues. Things like, for example, we got people like Keir Starmer talking about how he wants to ensure that, things like to do with like kids brushing their teeth in the morning. And it seems to be a bit more nanny state-ish coming from the Labour Party. But I don't really see the Conservatives really challenging that on much or anything. I just feel like it seems like you have Labour and then you have like Conservatives is basically Labour light or diet Labour. Does that make sense? Like Labour is full fat Labour, and then Conservatives is like Labour zero or Labour extra or something. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing there. It's just empty.
I mean, it'll be really interesting to see what happens, of course, because the fact that we have a parliamentary democracy makes just our elections so much more interesting. It's just there's so many rooms for upsets. Is what I'm trying to say. Whereas in America, as I was saying before the presidential election, it's a two, you're voting for one or the other person.
It's very much divided.
Libertarian, whatever, but yeah.